Peace, Ashe, Islam, Namaste, Hotep, Grand Rising, Assalamu alaikum, walaikum salam, Shalom, Salat, Oseo, Polito, Jambo, Rahubet, Hola, Aloha, Bonjour. Whatever the greeting is in your respective language, I am your humble brother, Crumb, here for another installation of Crumb TV. This episode is called Forced Vaccinations, family. We're about to get into it. I usually don't put this type of calling out there, but for a topic like this, I'm going to put it out here early. You're going to have to share this video right now. Share the video now. Put it in those groups. Anybody who has had anything to say about me, put it in on their page, in their inbox, so on and so forth. With that said, family, you already know what it is when you're dealing with your brother Crumb. I live in a virtual reality that you cannot find on Google Maps. It's called YouTube, family. If you live in that virtual reality as well, smash that subscribe button, Crumb TV. Now, family, when we're dealing with these virtual realities or any reality for that matter, this is not a singular point in time. There's a million manifestations happening simultaneously. What I'm saying is this is not a universe. This is a multiverse. So I'm not just on YouTube. I'm on Instagram because the gods reside in all the realms simultaneously. So if you, my friend, are on Instagram, give me a Grammy. Hit that follow button, Crumb TV _. Last but not least, let's talk about a little real estate, family. In my father's house, there are many mansions. How do you get a mansion inside of a house? All right, let's not talk real estate. We'll deal with that on another video. As of right now, my biggest estate, bar none, is on Racebook. What better place for your favorite races, family? That's just what I call it because of the gripe that they give me. It's really called Facebook. If you are on Facebook, family, hit that follow button, Crumb TV. So I always tell the family, I am not a master teacher. I am a master student. My followers, they go by the title, the anointing of master students. So I want to welcome all my master students. And before I get into it, I must acknowledge the first 3 students in the building. I didn't like when I was in school and the teacher only acknowledged me if I was late for class. I want to acknowledge the people who are early, if not on time. Well, on time, if not early. It's my sister Kai, going by the pen name K Croftus 99. She says, "Hi, it's me, Kai." Now, Kai is a little bit of a rebel, so she probably got banned or something like that. So she got to have a little backup page. I see you, babes. I see you out there doing the good work of the people. I'm saying hi as well. I knew it was you from the gate. Number 2 in the building, it is my mother, my matriarch, my goddess, my woman crush Wednesday. I love this woman to life. Maxine Otis, she says, peace and love, family. We saying peace and love back to you. Number 3, this is a first. I don't recognize his brother. He's not usually within my trifecta, but he is very much welcome, and I'm glad to see him. It is my brother, Brian Rolden. He says, peace, God. I am saying right back, peace, Almighty. What a beautiful day. I'm humbled and honored for all the family in the building. So with that said, family, let's get right into it. You already know how I do. This video is called, or this newest installation of Crumb TV is called Forced Vaccinations. Once again, I want to ask you, make sure you share this with the family. I am not a master student, teacher. I am a master student. So I want to bring in my master teacher. It is my brother from another mother, my brother Taz. Peace and love. How are you?
Peace, Brother Crumb. How's everybody doing out there? Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, all is well, all is well. You know, everybody is doing very well. Always glad to have you. The last time you and I did a video, it was Christmas Exposed Part 2. I think you got like maybe 4,000 or 5,000 views on that. We did really fire in terms of a PowerPoint. So I know you're going to bring some really good stuff today, brother. But before we get into this PowerPoint, if you could do us a favor and tell me who you are and where the family can find you at.
Thank you, brother. Hello to the family out there. My name is Taz. You can find me on all platforms under the Taz Show. You could also find me on Facebook under Taz Maniac Wolf. But you always find my material on Crumb TV. So check me out on all those channels: YouTube, Instagram, as well as Facebook, aka Racebook, and you'll be able to find most of my content there.
Excellent, brother. So we got a PowerPoint today, and it's under the title of Force Vaccinations. If it's okay with you, I would ask if you could start us off.
Yeah. Well, to begin with, there's a little video that's been going viral in regards about an interview that was portrayed with this gentleman, which is on the first slide. His name is Alan Dershowitz. All right, and he is a very well-known lawyer. He's a high-profile lawyer. All right, and he has represented a lot of people. All right, people like Donald Trump, O.J. Simpson, Jeffrey Epstein, you know, all types of different people throughout his career. And he has a good record of winning, and when he speaks in regards about the law, people usually listen to what this man is saying, not because, just because, but, he has a good grasp of what the legal system has around to be able to go through the loops and hoops. He was O.J. Simpson's lawyer as well. So he's very well known. If we could go to the next slide. Well, the next slide is just a slide of to promote the channels like we've already done. You could go to the next one.
Well, really quickly, brother, because I know I asked who you are, where the family can find you at. So you do also have a YouTube channel, and I believe, let's see what we got here. The Occult Origins of Christmas Part 2. 4 months ago, we hit like 1.7 on that one. Taz and Calico Breakdown Latin America. You got almost 2,000 views. Just a couple of your heavy hitters, really good videos. This is all on your YouTube channel. So peace and love to my brother for working with me. I see you. I appreciate you. Let's move on. So what we got here? Can I press this button or no?
So before we even start with this video, I want the family to listen very carefully to what this man he's being interviewed. He's being interviewed, and the subject has a lot to do with vaccines and other subjects. But I cut the video is about 20 minutes, but I cut it down to 3 minutes, so it shows the part that we need to address. And just let's listen to what he has to say.
Put it very clearly, you have no constitutional right to endanger the public and spread the disease, even if you disagree. You have no right not to be vaccinated. You have no right not to wear a mask. You have no right to open up your business.
Wait, can I stop you?
Yeah.
No right not to be vaccinated, meaning if they decide you have to be vaccinated, we have to be vaccinated?
Absolutely. And if you refuse to be vaccinated, the state has the power to literally take you to a doctor's office and plunge a needle into your arm. If the vaccination
Where is that in the Constitution?
If the vaccination is designed to...
I'm sorry, that was me?
Yeah.
Sorry. Let's see, can I
put it very clearly? You have no...
You have to be vaccinated? We have to be vaccinated?
Absolutely. And if you refuse to be vaccinated, the state has the power to literally take you to a doctor's office and plunge a needle into your arm. If the
Where is that in the Constitution?
If the vaccination is designed to prevent the spreading disease. The vaccination is only to prevent a disease that you will get. For example, if there's a disease that will kill you, you have the right to refuse that, but you have no right to refuse to be vaccinated against a contagious disease. Public health, the police power of the Constitution gives the state the power to compel that. And there are cases in the United States Supreme Court. Case that pops into my head, I may have the name wrong, is Jacobson, I think, probably.
Jacobson. Let's keep that in mind.
You'll see that there.
You said the name Jacobson, and you want us to hold that thought?
Yeah, well, let's keep that name in mind. First of all, when you hear somebody literally say that the government has the authority to plunge a needle down your vein, because those were his success. Who is this man? How dare you? Who do you think you? I mean, you must have some mighty, connections to be able to, make such a claim. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting, because he mentioned that there's several cases that have come about in the process of the United States that have shown this happening. And in 1905, the U.S. Supreme Court supported compulsory state vaccination laws during the smallpox epidemic, and this was to protect the public health. Now, this was done with the pretense of it's for the greater good of the state. All right. So, therefore, your individual rights immediately go out the window. The state of Massachusetts mandated vaccinations um, to a specific person. He made the comment of Jacobson, which is a case in point. If we could go back to the thing, if we see right here, it says Alan Morton Darskowitz is an American lawyer and academic. He's a scholar of the United States constitutional law and criminal law. He has also been described as noted as a civil libertarian. So he's a very well-known person. Like I said, he's come into to the defense of several people, even like Epstein. Donald Trump, when he was being they attempted to throw the man out the presidency, he was being defended by this man, Alan Dershowitz. O.J. Simpson, all Mike Tyson. Different people that have been defended by this man. Now, he made the claim of Jacobson. If we could go to the next slide. Now, this person, Jacobson, I want everybody to remember throughout the process of us speaking in regards about the man, that Jacobson is a pastor. Okay, this is a man that had his own church. All right, this is for so we could get a clear understanding for people that might still think that they might be able to use the religious exemptions from being vaccinated. Now, mind you, family, I'm not pro-vaccine. I'm not here to tell everybody, hey, you gotta get. I'm bringing you the facts. You guys go do this research, and however you feel about it, once you figure it out, then hey, do that with the information as you please. But this man was a pastor, all right, and in 1905, while during this pandemic, Jacobson refused, so he was fined and put in jail. But he appealed, and the case went to the Supreme Court, where he invoked his constitutional rights under the 14th Amendment, which states that that no state shall make or enforce any law abridging the privileges or immunities of the citizens of the United States, or deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. All right.
Wait, let me see if I can get you to back up real quickly. Because I know that when we're dealing with, excuse me, forced vaccinations, the loophole is the constitutional right of religious freedom. So your example that you first brought up, because when we're dealing with the Constitution, we're dealing with law.
Right.
So you started by showing us a lawyer who seems to be very well connected. Trump, Epstein, OJ. Who's that other one beside OJ?
What's his name?
Cochran, Johnny Cochran.
Right, as well as Mike Tyson.
So it looks like this dude is well connected.
Fact.
But when we're dealing with law, oh yeah, I see Mike Tyson back there. Law doesn't really have anything to do, because the law says that it will not trump Constitution. I'm sorry, excuse me. The law won't trump Constitution. Damn, nabbit. The Constitution, which is law, won't trump religion. So you brought up the example of a religious person who in this case is a pastor. Now, tell me what's going on with this pastor again?
He, if I'm not mistaken, and further later on in another slide, we're gonna go deep into exactly where he's from. But if I'm not mistaken, he's like Irish or something like that. So, or somewhere in Europe. But while he was there, he experienced forced vaccination while he was a child. So he already knew what had happened. And
The
when
the
then
pastor.
the pastor. Then he came into the United States, and this epidemic had come about, the smallpox epidemic. So but the vaccines that they were forcing on people were vaccines that he already had already. So he refused because he had already done it over there. So they told him, he couldn't refuse. So when he refused, that's when he invoked his 14th Amendment rights. But they told him that it wasn't about his individual rights, that it was about the better of everybody as a whole. All right, and he took it to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the state and ruled against Jacobson and recognized each state's police power, which gives the state authority to enact health laws um, of every description, including quarantine and vaccinations law, to protect the health and safety of its citizens as a whole, not as an individual, because it's all about the greater good of the state. Now, Jacob, go ahead.
I just, now I didn't pass the bar. I don't have any Jewish friends that I know of. And, I'm not like a legal dude or anything like that. But I do know this: law sets precedent. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. So if one court case opens the door, other court proceedings can go through it.
Facts.
This is called precedent.
And not to cut you off, but I am so glad that you mentioned that, because that's exactly what this whole entire PowerPoint goes into. How one thing leads to another, and when we allow it to happen and we don't speak out, it ends up biting us in the ass the most. But anyways, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I'm not aware. Prior to this live, I wasn't aware of any of this. I was under the assumption that we could protect ourselves based on the religious freedom. But you were saying, because when we're dealing with law, there's three tiers of man-made law here in America. Well, it's not laws, it's just codes and statutes and stuff. But anyway, you have local, which is city, town, township, municipality, so on and so forth. You have state, which we already know what the states are, and then you have federal. At the federal level is the Constitution. So the thing is that the state law, the municipal codes and statutes, the state codes and statutes, they don't trump the Constitution.
Right.
But that's neither here nor there. It was just a lot of interesting information that kind of flooded in when you started going over this. So continue. My apologies. Can you finish telling me the story of this pastor named Henning Jacobson versus Massachusetts again? My apologies.
Correct. Now, he took it all the way to the Supreme Court, and he voiced his concern about the safety of the vaccine, which was backed by some physicians who supported this claim. All right, this claim that he was making about his questioning of what could happen if he was injected with this. There was plenty of medical physicians that were actually backing him up on this, and they weren't trying to listen to it. If we could go to the next slide just to get some further information in regards about Jacobson. It says Jacobson versus Massachusetts 197 US 11 was a United States Supreme Court case.
Let me see if I can read it for you. Do you mind?
Go ahead.
Jacobson versus Massachusetts, 197 U.S. 11 was a United States Supreme Court case in which the United. I'm sorry. Let me. I just. Uh, Hold on. Almost ready. Oh, come on, white Jesus. All right, there we go. There we go. I don't know. The audio probably still the same, but who knows? Was the United States Supreme Court case in which the United Court upheld the authority of the state to enforce uh, compulsory vaccination laws. The court's decision articulated the view that individual liberty is not absolute and it's subject to the police power of the state. This decision came in 1905, according to United States Supreme Court of America. So that kind of answers the questions I was saying in terms of the Supreme Court is higher than the state, because at this point, the Supreme Court gave the state their autonomy.
Facts. Now, if we go to the next slide, it gives us a little further detail. You could go ahead and read if you can for us, brother.
Henning Jacobson, a Swedish minister, refused vaccination during a smallpox epidemic in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Then he refused to pay the $5 fine and took his case to court. The court sided with the state, ruling that it could use its police power to protect the public health. Okay, before I continue reading, there's something crawling up my throat and it's got to come out. To my listening audience, to my master students, can I get a damn Gina? Somebody out there got to feel me. Can I get a damn Gina? That's crazy. Jacobson versus Massachusetts, 1905 continue. Now, this is according to New England Historical Society.com. The next one it's just a regular wiki article. It says, in 1902, faced with an outbreak of smallpox, the Board of Health of the city of Cambridge, Massachusetts, adopted a regulation ordering the vaccination or revaccination of all its inhabitants. Cambridge pastor Henning Jacobson, who lived through the era of mandatory vaccinations back in his original home of Sweden. ... Damn, Gina.
They literally went against this man.
I never knew there was a time in history where we had already gone through a situation of forced vaccinations. Because a lot of times when I be dealing with the family be really, gung-ho about the talk. But they don't be gung-ho about the research, about taking action, about really doing anything. And it's like, okay, I know for the most part, a lot of the family is just really intellectual masturbators, and it doesn't really make any difference for them. So when a person like myself comes on the screen and says, "Hey, we may need to stop getting all these abortions. We may need to stop getting all these C-sections. We may need to stop eating this fast food. We may need to stop popping all these pills. We may need to stop volunteering for all these elective surgeries," because the law has already told us. Brother, do you know what the lowest level of law is in terms of representatives?
I will be assuming
the police force. The police force is the lowest level of local government that any of us will ever come in contact with. So now you have a government that's mandating and pushing these things on us, and we're going with it. What I'm basically saying, in essence, to the family, if the family don't get serious about their health, about what they eat, about taking their affairs amongst man, among getting serious about governing ourselves, these people have put themselves in a position to be our guardians.
Facts.
And what we are seeing now, what you're revealing, is that the fox is guarding the hen house. Please continue.
Now, if we look even further, brother, the way they were able to literally crucify this man, if we go through the next slide, It was with the help of the AMA. All right, and we're gonna go deep into what the AMA is all about, the American Medical Association. All right, now this is a AMA journal of their Journal of Ethics, and this is an article that they had is called "Is Mandatory Vaccination Legal in the Time of Epidemic?" And I have underlined what they use, the pretense that they use against Jacobson. Would you like to read it, brother, or are you?
I would love to. So this is coming from AMA Journal of Ethics is the source, and the underlying reads: when determining the legality of statute enacted to protect public health and safety, the court found it immaterial that a portion of the medical community thought the vaccination worthless or even injurious, meaning it could injure somebody, I assume.
Facts. Now, before we even go any further, not to cut you off right there. Right, the first sentence, it says, when determining the legality of the statute enacted to protect public health and safety, the court found it immaterial. Now, on the left hand side, I have the definition of through Merriam-Webster of what immaterial means, meaning this doctors that had come to the aid of Jacobson. And since they had a PhD and they were doctors and they knew what they were talking about, this was their way of discrediting them. So what does immaterial mean? When we look at immaterial, it says of no substantial consequence, unimportant, not consisting of the matter, incorporeal. So it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter if what these people are saying. But continue, brother. I just wanted to make sure that the family was aware of what immaterial was in everywhere that is going to be said during the context of the underlying article.
Okay, so yeah, and I gotta be honest, I wasn't 100% clear on what I was reading until you broke that down. So thank you for breaking down immaterial. At the bottom left-hand corner, we can see, according to Merriam-Webster, immaterial is an adjective and it means of no substantial consequence. And the synonym, a synonymous word, is going to be unimportant. So let me just try to read that again now that we know what immaterial means. When determining the legality of a statute enacted to protect public health and safety, the court found it immaterial, unimportant, of no significance, that a portion of the medical community, that means doctors, that means nurses, that means nurse practitioners.
Facts.
A portion of the medical community thought the vaccination was worthless or even injurious, a danger to our health. That came from the Supreme Court, family. Can somebody, and I feel like the family don't understand what I'm saying. So with that said, can I get a damn Gina if you get it? If you get it, can I get a damn Gina? Moving forward. The state has the right to choose between opposing medical theories and to refer the matter to a board composed of persons residing in the affected location who are qualified to make a determination. The courts do not become involved in legislation formed under the state's police power as long as it relates substantially to public health, morals, or safety, and it's not a plain, palpable invasion of rights secured by fundamental law. Should I continue?
Please, just the underline.
Furthermore, it is immaterial, there we go again with that word, it is immaterial whether or not the vaccine is actually effective.
Fact.
Hold on, family. Hold on, Gina.
Immaterial.
Hold on, white Jesus.
The word of the day is immaterial.
The word of today is immaterial. Let me go back and read that again. I feel like I'm missing something here. This don't even say. Hold on. Let me try to. Furthermore, I'm just going to read that sentence again because clearly I got a problem with understanding ish. Furthermore, it is immaterial whether or not the vaccine is actually effective. White Jesus. Lily white troglodyte Jesus. So long as it is the belief of the state authorities that the mandatory vaccine will promote common welfare and is responsible and is reasonable and proper exercise of the police power. So we not dealing with science no more, brother.
You're dealing with beliefs.
You dealing with belief.
Literally with beliefs. It doesn't matter about no facts. It doesn't matter if there is a possibility that this shit won't work. Excuse my, but it doesn't matter. You go, we gonna do it. We gonna try it. We've done it before, and we gonna do it again because history repeats itself, and we obviously don't care about it and just stay quiet all the time.
Ho. I feel like Santa. Ho. Hold on 1 second, brother. Let me see if I can just add a little bit of value based on something you just said. You said history repeats itself.
Facts.
History does not repeat itself. History only repeats itself to those who do not know history. History only repeats itself to those who do not know history. And I am a little bit frightened to say, brother, especially with the topic of forced vaccinations, I would dare say there's a lot of people who may be saying in the back of their mind, I don't know history. So the people who don't know their history, they don't see the value of the information, they don't support Crumb TV. If those are the first people to get vaccinated, there's not too much I can say about that because you got platforms in the age of information. The ignorance is a choice. You got platforms putting out information and the people just ignore it. And you turn around and get forced vaccinated. Family, can't nobody say, there was this one brother up here. He seems to be a little quiet now, but he was up here, very opinionated, I don't know if it was more science or masonry or what, but a lot of times, all the time, these people don't have any remedies. Nobody has any remedies, but let's keep on going. The information is crazy. All right, so here we go. Furthermore, it is immaterial whether or not the vaccine is actually effective, so long as the belief system, so on and so forth. It is of paramount necessity that a community have the right to protect itself from an epidemic of disease which threatens the safety of its members. All right, so there you go.
So that is exactly what they used against Jacobson when if we go to the next page, to the next slide, when we will see what it was that he invoked. Which was the 14th Amendment, which asserts that no state shall make or enforce any law abridging the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States or deprive of any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. The Supreme Court recognizes a 14th Amendment guarantee of substantive due process that protects U.S. residents against arbitrary legislation action. This Constitution guarantee requires that legislation not be unreasonable, arbitrary, or capricious, and that it have substantial relation to the legislative objective. Essentially, though, this provision demands only minimum scrutiny or rational review of the enacted legislation. The law need only be rationally recognized related to legitimate government purpose to be declared constitutional. All right, it just needs to be only rationally related to be legitimate government to be a legitimate government purpose to be declared constitutional. Furthermore, the Supreme Court has recognized each state's police power, which gives the state authority to enact health laws of every description, including quarantine and vaccinations law, to protect its citizens.
So, can you give me that in a nutshell? What did we just read?
So, pretty much what they did was they took everybody's individual rights and they took the majority wins. Majority wins. Who says vaccines? Everybody that's scared was raising their hand. Me. There's 100 people, 90 of them like me. 10 of them are like, man, I don't know. What about you? Don't get to say shit. You 10, shut up. or all 90 of us go, we go, hey, they ain't gonna need the powers that be didn't have to do nothing, because the people themselves were gonna make sure that whoever didn't want to go with the flow, or they were either gonna get down or lay down. So this is who they use. They use this pretest and the AMA. But who is the AMA? Let's go to the next slide just to get an idea of who these people are.
So we have here American Medical Association. The American Medical Association was founded in 1847. This is during slavery, and incorporated in 1897. This largest association of physicians, both medical doctors and DOs. I'm not sure what that stands for. And medical students in the United States. The AMA's state mission is to promote the art and science of medicine and the betterment of public health. This is according to Wikipedia. And here we got on the other side, Britannica. Let's see what the British have to say about it, because people don't like Wikipedia, but they love those British. AMA, Organized American Physicians, the objective of which to promote science and the art of medicine and the betterment of the public health. It was founded in Philly in 1847 by 250 delegates representing more than 40 medical associates and 28 colleges. That's Britannica. Last but not least, I have here the infamous John Davis Rockefeller used the AMA to take over Western medicine. Wow. And here we go, Rockefeller, David, his grandson. All we need is the right major crisis, and the nation will accept the new world order. Brother, what is all of this? Help me out.
Now, when we're looking at the AMA, brother, it's like it tells you right there on the top right-hand side. It was founded in 1847 by 250 delegates representing more than 40 medical societies and 28 colleges. So it was a whole bunch of doctors and doctorates and people that were in college about to be a doctor that created this place. And at first, this corporation, this medical association, was a very small organization. All right.
Brother, my apologies. Give me 2 seconds. I want to put a challenge out to some of the family. Family, I need some receipts. You got to give me a course case, a case number, a docket number, or something. Talk is cheap, family. Why do we do PowerPoints, Brother Taz?
Exactly, to make sure that we pull up the receipts, so they, contest the receipts.
Y'all can't come over. Brother Barry, I love you. Peace and love. We appreciate you being on the line, adding value. But please, 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 to all the listening audience, you are now in a scholastic forum. This is not the barbershop, family. You want to just talk, go to the barbershop. If you want to come over here with the big boys, you got to bring some receipts. Peace and love to all the family. I appreciate y'all. I just need to see some information. That's the reason we do PowerPoints over here. Go over to so-and-so platform. They just kind of shoot the ish. They jive. It's very fun. They go home and, watch football. Over here, we're actually in the books. You're going to have to get in the books with us. Please continue, my brother. My apologies.
Right. So now, when we're looking at this people, the AMA, and their history, we have to go back and see what it is. We have to look at the roots of everything. Now, I'm not here to fear monger anybody. I have my own children that I have to worry about and my own family. Therefore, this is something that is going to be presented at us. And if you look at the process of things that are happening, this is leading up to be. Now, I understand there is certain ways that you could go about possibly getting around all the situations, but not everybody's informed about that. And unless they know that before, they have forced the vast majority, 98% of the population, and they've successfully done it, then people are not going to understand that it could be done again. And it will, unless we say something and unless we do something about it.
So, absolutely.
Moving on, if we go to the on the next couple of slides, it's going to give us a slight breakdown of the rabbit hole that goes down with the AMA and the Rothschilds. I don't know if you want to take a little turn between pages, brother.
I'm sorry. What did you ask me?
You want to read the first page and I'll read the second one?
Sure, I'll read them both. It doesn't matter to me. It's up to you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, so here we have Down the Rabbit Hole, the Rise of Western Medicine. Now, this is an article from September 24th, 2016, which reads, it was while I was reading The History, Treatment, and Disease of the Horse that I came upon the chapter, List of Medicines Used in the Treatment of Diseases of the Horse. Some of the treatments like purging and bloodletting were a bit hard to read, but the medicine of the time was fascinating. Lots of homeopathic preparations and some cures like mercury and lead, which were a little frightening, but the one that grabbed my attention was opium. It was obtained by making incisions into the unripe capsule of the poppy and scraping the juice which exhales and drying in the sun. The best kind of opium is brought to this country in chests from Turkey and India. It is a powerful antispasmodic sedative and astringent. As an antispasmodic, it enters into the colic drink, and it is the sheet anchor of the veterinarian in the treatment of lockjaw and tetanus. It becomes an excellent tonic because of its sedative. It started me thinking about how the opioid problem we have currently in the U.S., from heroin and morphine to hydrocodone to oxycodone, codeine, and fentanyl. So I did a little research on opium. It was cultivated in lower Mesopotamia around 3400 BC. The Sumerians passed it along to the Assyrians, who then passed it to the Egyptians. The opium trade flourished during the reigns of Thutmose II, Akhenaten, and King Tut. This trade route included the Phoenician and Minoans, who brought opium into Greece, Carthage, and Europe. Around 4600 BC, Hippocrates, the father of medicine, acknowledged its usefulness as a narcotic and styptic in the treating internal diseases and diseases of women. Opium from Thebes was introduced to China by Arab traders in 400 AD.
Now, before we continue, that first page, what is pretty much, first of all, it's a vet, the one that's speaking about this article. He was trying to treat his horses, and he came upon, the use of opium, that it goes a long way, but he discovers certain things that were completely, baffling to him upon, him doing even further research into the rabbit hole as far as opium goes. So this is where it gets serious. Go ahead, brother.
You want me to read the next page, because I just finished that one?
Yeah, the next page. Yeah, the next page.
Absolutely. During the 1300s, opium disappears from Europe for 200 years because the taboo put on it by the Holy Inquisition, who considered anything from the East as being linked to the devil. In 1527, opium is reintroduced in the European medical literature as laudanum. And laud means praise, something to be praised. When you give somebody laud, a pat on the back. So that's just a root word. I'm looking at this. I'm breaking down the Latin. Anyway, it is the Dutch in 1700 that introduced the practice of smoking opium in a pipe to the Chinese. The British East India Company in 1793 establishes a monopoly on the opium trade, and the company's import of opium into China reaches a staggering 2,000 chests per year. In 1803, Friedrich Sotomayor, a German, discovers the active ingredient in opium by dissolving it in acid and then neutralizing it with ammonia. The result is morphine. In 1827, East Merck and Company of Germany begins a commercial manufacturing of morphine. It will become a dominant manufacturer of morphine, codeine, and cocaine. In 1895, Hernig Dresser, working for the Bayer Company in Alderbury, Germany, finds that the diluting morphine with Acetiles produces a drug without the common morphine side effects. Bayer begins production of the diethylmorphine and coins the name for this new compound, heroin.
Heroin.
Want me to continue reading?
Yes, please. Let's just know that this was the creation of heroin. This is where literally we all know Bayer. Bayer is the aspirin. When well, at least when I think of Bayer, I think of aspirin. All right, that's who I think. I do not think of heroin. All right, or nothing of that nature. But go ahead, brother, and further down the rabbit hole with J.D. Rockefeller.
Yes, brother. Further down the rabbit hole, J.D. Rockefeller. When I think of Bayer, I think of aspirin, not heroin. I was curious about the use of acetyls to produce heroin. Where did the acetyls come from in the late 1800s? Well, just like today, they came from petrochemicals, which then was led by none other than John D. Rockefeller, the oil baron, the first billionaire, the creator and CEO of Standard Oil, Exxon, Shell, and two others that don't come to mind. In the late 1800s, Rockefeller came up with an idea to use coal tar, a petroleum derivative, to make substances that affect the body and nervous system. This was not a new idea. His father, Old Bill Rockefeller, sold bottles of raw petroleum mixed in with a little opium as a cure for cancer. Young Rockefeller just needed a vehicle to extend and capitalize on petroleum derivatives as medicine. The rise of American Medical Association.
This is the AMA.
I'm sorry, please.
This is the AMA. What we're about to hear is the rise of the AMA. Like I said previously, the AMA, when we first started, it was a very, very small company or you know, or a place where you know, doctors that practice a certain type of medicine gathered. All right, so there is a specific reason of how the Rockefellers and the AMA eventually come together. If we continue.
Yeah, let me just comment to reply to one of the I assume master students. They try to really oversimplify this and have really failed to do the research. And I'm very discouraged with Betsy. She says simply don't get vaccinated. Betsy, I want you to, if you could, take a little bit of your time to go and review the last 45 minutes of what we've been talking about, because this is not a matter of should you or should you not get vaccinated. This is exactly as the title implies, forced. So I don't know how a person would interpret that as you having a decision somewhere within the process. But no, this isn't a matter of I refuse. This is a police state using police force. What you don't know, Betsy, and all of the family, we're going to have to stop saying ignorance is bliss, Betsy. What you don't know will hurt you. I don't want these people to kick in your door and vaccinate you, and your ass looking like saying that you're a master student and then get dragged down to the hospital. That's not what we're dealing with right now. We're dealing with knowledge. We need to know versus being opinionated. I love you, Betsy, but you're oversimplifying the matter of what we're dealing with. Let me continue on, though. The rise of the American Medical Association. In the early 1900s, there were many types of healing practices in the U.S. and Europe. Chiropractors, naturopathy, midwives, homeopathy, osteopathy, herbal medicines, diets, steam baths, the whole gambit. Western medicine in the 18th and 19th centuries was called heroic medicine and included, heroic medicine, and included methods such as bloodletting, purging, leeching, blistering, mercury, and lead therapy. Through much of history, healers were those who worked with herbs and food and charged little or nothing for their expertise. What do you think, brother?
Facts. Facts. Back in those days, they were more in tune with nature. Not that they were completely, because we know already that we've been pushed far, far, far from nature. But during those times, we were a little closer. The whole point is to keep on driving us through different loops and hoops to keep us away and further from the truth as possible. So we have too many layers to go back through to even get to what is original, or what's natural.
Next slide.
Next slide. Now this slide, if you could start on the first, second, third, on the fourth paragraph, please, brother. That's the most important one.
The American Medical Association began in 1847, but it was a small, weak organization until J.D. Rockefeller and Andrew Carnegie, both robber barons, on the philanthropic mission to help the AMA, marking the point when the allopathic or Western medicine took a huge turn. Since there were many types of doctors and healing methods, Rockefeller wanted to eliminate these competitors, thus ensuring that drugs would be the main course of treatment. Capitalists like Rockefeller and Carnegie and others embraced scientific medicine as an ideological weapon in their struggle to formulate a new culture appropriate to and supportive of industrial capitalism. Rockefeller Medicine Men, Richard E. Brown, 1979.
Facts. Now, on the right hand side, we have an explanation of what heroic medicine was and naturopathy medicine was, which is what they were trying to step away from. That's what J.D. Rockefeller, when he joined the AMA, to help them, because like it points out right there, they were a very small organization until John D. Rockefeller and Andrew Carnegie took a philanthropic mission. Let's not forget that Bill Gates is a what? He's a philanthropist. All right.
A philanthropist, right.
Right. So this is, we're dealing with another philanthropist right here. All right. So, they took a philanthropic mission to help the AMA, making the point when allopathic medicine medicine took a huge turn. So as they seen that it was scaling up and gaining momentum, they wanted to completely gain control of it. All right. And when we look at heroic medicine, it says also referred to as heroic depletion theory, was a therapeutic method advocating a rigorous treatment of bloodletting, purging, and sweating to shock the body back to health after an illness caused by a humoral imbalance. All right. And naturopathy, or naturopathic medicine, is a form of alternative medicine that employs an array of pseudoscientific practices branded as natural. Now, this explanation right there, it calls it pseudo because obviously it's under the Rockefeller information plan. So they had to make sure that they didn't give naturopathy too much credit as far as what it is that they're trying to implement. Go ahead.
So according to J.D. Rockefeller, if your doctor says drinking water will make you better, that's pseudoscience.
Facts.
It's pseudoscience, family. I want to give a big shout out because I got a lot of the family who are, they just saying stuff. Like the family said war crime. Which war crime, family? What war crime are you talking about? You have to tell me one of the clauses from the Geneva Convention before you just come up here and say something. This person, I appreciate them because they're watching, but they've yet to provide any substantial information that I could really even go off of. However, my brother Marco Blackwell said, I'm studying Jacobson versus Massachusetts right now. These are the master students in the room who are going to be able to really comment, to really be in the know, versus a lot of the family who is very opinionated and really doesn't have a strong idea of what's going on, which is neither here nor there. Just want to give a shout out to my master students. With your permission, brother, let's continue.
Fact. Can we go to the next slide?
Indeed.
In which, in the next slide, I'm pretty sure everybody's seen the ancestor on Crumb TV, Dr. Africa. If we could look at his breakdown of allopathic versus naturopathic, so the family that have not got a chance to go check this on Crumb TV and share the video, please.
Gladly.
What is the difference between allopathic and naturopathic medicine?
Well, allopathic medicine believes the contrary cure is the opposite. That's their motto. And they believe in order to make the body healthy, you have to make the body sick. So they will give you something that makes your body sick, such as a drug. And there are more side effects listed for the drugs than positive effects. So if you just do the mathematics, you find out you're in a losing situation because there are more side effects to a drug than positive effects. So they use poisons, and the poisons create poisonous effects, which they call side effects. And naturopathic medicine, which is non-invasive medicine, we use plants such as herbs, or supplements such as vitamins and minerals and amino acids. We use things to nourish the body so the body can make its own decision about how it's going to maintain wellness.
So I've been going to my doctor, that many times for 20 years now. What do you think of that?
I think that if the doctor was doing his job, you wouldn't be going for 20 years. You should have been finished with him at least a couple of years.
Wow.
Facts. Now, if we could read that one paragraph where the Rockefellers and their pharmaceutical empire, right there, just so we could get a concept of what happened once they took over.
The Rockefellers and the pharmaceutical empire, with the AMA and allopathic medical schools firmly in place, the abolition of other medical therapies, and the enforcement of regulated licensing of doctors, the Rockefeller empire continued to expand. Sterling Drug Incorporated, the largest holding company in the Rockefeller Drug Empire, and its 68 subsidiaries were maintained under an umbrella of the Rockefeller-owned bank, Chase Manhattan, now known as J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, and called the Drug Trust. Continue?
Continue, please.
We can now, well, let me just hold on real quick. The Drug Trust thing really effed me up. Because when they were talking about banks, I'm like, okay, it's a fun fact, but it seems like that doesn't really have a place within this conversation. So now when they said the drug trust, so they're holding all of these things in a financial trust.
Fun. Facts.
I just found that to be jarring. So let me continue. We cannot forget that the pharmaceutical empire of the Rockefeller includes vaccines, sedatives, and
analgesics,
and antibiotics, heart drugs, and hypotonics. Under the directive of the Rockefeller Foundation, funds to the medical colleges in 1948 alone swelled to $32 million, which in today's money would amount to $323 million. This ensured that the medical schools would teach and indoctrinate the names and uses of thousands of drugs. In the 1930s, John D. Rockefeller Jr. campaigned for the prohibition of hemp and cannabis through generous political and Baptist church donations. Hemp would produce ethanol, which competed with the petroleum, and cannabis was a competitor with opium, and with the Rockefeller-owned members of the opium cartel, Bayer, creators of heroin. Wow.
So these people really created a drug empire, but they call us the drug dealers, though. We're the ones in the corner that they're pointing the finger at. All right, but you know that this is the implementation of the AMA, the American Medical Association, and the Rockefeller literally having its tentacles completely around it through the process of buying them little by little. They went around and started buying every single aspect of the place. Now, if we look further into the thing, you know, we find out in the next slide, you know, that this is not something new. When we look at the etymology, you know, at the origin of the word pharmacy, we could find out exactly what it is that these people are doing. All right, and when we look at the etymology, it literally states that the pharmacy comes from Greek pharmakia, use of drugs, medicines, poisons, or spells, poisoning, witchcraft, remedy, cure, from pharmakios, preparer of drugs, poisoner or sorcerer, a drug or a poison, a filter, a charm, a spell, an enchantment. It seems like we're talking about magic here.
It does.
So if we move forward to the next slide, we're gonna go past this slide, and we're gonna go to the next one. That's something completely different that it would be too much to add. But we can't forget that there was a time when the Supreme Court, Justice Holmes, this guy right here, cited the Jacobson versus Massachusetts to forcefully sterilize somebody. All right, this somebody was a lady called Carrie Buck, who was the first person known to be sterilized under the state's law of Virginia in 1927, which was a eugenics law, which included sterilizing anyone who was feeble-minded or an imbecile or even an epileptic. Now, the question is, who decided which people got placed under this level of feeble-minded or imbeciles? This was all part of the eugenics movement, who believed only the strong could survive, and that science had to choose these beings who should not be allowed to walk the earth for the betterment of the world. Now, Kerry, if this is the dude that cited Jacobson versus Massachusetts. He's Supreme Court Justice Holmes. If we could read right here, it says Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. was an American jurist who served as an associate justice of the Supreme Court of the United States from 1902 to 1932 as an active Chief Justice of the United States in January and February of 1930. This dude made several quotes. One of them was, "I like to pay my taxes. With them, I buy civilization." Okay. He was very influential person. Now, if we go to the next slide,
Hold on. I just gotta recap what you just said because I thought we were done, but apparently we're not even close. So the first law that you brought up, I'm sorry, not law, but a court proceeding. It was the Supreme Court. That court proceeding was used to make it at the state level legal for the state to forcefully vaccinate you.
facts.
After they make that, because we know laws based off precedent, after they opened the door, this guy was the first one to walk through that door of legal forced vaccinations, and they added sterilization to the forced vaccination campaign
Through the eugenics program. Facts.
through the eugenics projects because the people were considered feeble-minded. I wanted to give a quick shout out to all the sisters out here who have really been pushing for C-sections. And this is something I'm not going to stop saying. They're going to use that against you, sis. They're going to say you're less than a woman. They're going to say you're prone to complications. They're going to say, as a woman, you're not good for anything other than sex. Or, of course, as a worker, you're not even officially good for sex. That's the European woman's job. You're a worker, and the only time we engage you is during the midnight hour, 3 a.m. You to jump off. But anyway, they're going to use these C-sections against our women. They're going to say that because this is all from eugenics. They've already said we were subhuman. This is all based off Darwin. We're subhuman. We're not fully evolved because Darwin brought evolution. A lot of the people complain to me that they don't understand how the concept of evolution is racist. Well, when you're dealing with evolution, the last thing on the evolutionary timeline is the most evolved. The first thing is the least evolved. So just like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that our people were the original men and women of the planet, they would say that you're a Model T, a Ford Model T, and I'm a Ferrari. I'm more evolved than you. So because I am more evolved than you, I am greater than you. You are an old model. You need to be done with. There's problems with that model. And one of the things that they're going to use against us is our women having all of these C-sections. So the family says, well, Crumb, they didn't say this, but I'm assuming you're going to say this. You're going to say, well, Crumb, we're talking about vaccinations. What does vaccinations, why are you going to jump on our women in terms of that? Because the very first forced sterilization was on a woman. And and that sterilization where they took out her uterus without her giving consent was based off vaccinations, family. That's why we're talking about that. So go ahead on and just ignore the whole thing about the C-section part and just make it about vaccinations. Tell the family, that you're only going to focus on what's convenient for you, because the rest is a little too personal and it hurts your feelings and you feel embarrassed about it. That's why you're not going to deal with the information. And let's continue on now that I got that off my shoulders. But I will be bringing that up again later on. My apologies.
Because we're about to address that in the next couple of slides. Now, when we look at Carrie, it says Carrie Buck was in the plaintiff in the United States Supreme Court case Buck versus Bell, after having been ordered to undergo compulsory sterilization for purportedly being feeble-minded. Now, before we even go any further, I know most of the family are thinking, well, that is our Caucasian. She has absolutely nothing to do with us. The thing is, like before, they create situations just to have a door. Once the door is there, eventually one of them is going to open that door and go through it after it has been omitted the fact of what has already been happening. And 9 times out of 10, colored people are the ones that end up with the shitty end of the stick. Now, during this... Go ahead, brother.
Let me just add value there, because you said something that I think I know that the family, I'd be wanting to give the family the benefit of the doubt, but it seems like the most simplest things still elude us. So when the family always talks about, matter of fact, do you know who the main supporters of the Bill Clinton of the Bill Clinton crime bill was? Do you know who the main supporters were?
No, I'm not aware.
The main supporters of the Bill Clinton crime bill were Black people.
Oh.
Do you know about the Bill Clinton crime bill?
Yeah, well, I'm familiar with it. I'm not too...
The Bill Clinton crime bill was a piece of legislation that Bill Clinton brought up to get tough on crime and to lock away the bad guys, but it ended up just locking away low-level drug perpetrators, mostly marijuana. So let's say you get caught with a quarter of marijuana, you getting 5 years in prison off dick. 5 years in prison. So now, one thing I don't understand about so-called Black people or just colored people is that our memories are so short, and we speak as if these things which govern us all are going to govern us equally, failing to account for any time where any law has ever governed us on an equal status. If there's a government program and it's beneficial, they will be the main benefactors. If it's a government program or policy and it's harsh, we're going to bear the brunt of that harshness. It has been the same time and time through history. But just as we were saying earlier, I think this is a great time to really beat this horse to death. History only repeats itself to who, brother?
To those that do not know it.
History only repeats itself to those who do not know history. So Black people who ask for harder laws, it will be your children who will go to jail. Who ask for forced sterilizations, it will be your children who will be forcefully sterilized. Who ask for anything, you're gonna get the hardest part of it, and your European white Asia troglodyte counterpart will receive the boon from it. So that's something I've always been frustrated with. Our people have always failed to realize that these things, no matter what it is, always works in their benefit and works in their benefit by and large. So if there's Reaganomics, we're gonna get a little bit of that trickle down. Hey, you know what, guys? There's 2 million in stimulus. Well, out of that 2 million, we'll probably get like $100. But of that 2 million, keep in mind they're going to get 1,500,000.
Facts.
It's just always how go look at. I'm not even going any deeper in history. I just want to point that out for the family who has a short-term memory. Let's continue on if you will allow.
So back to the to the PowerPoint. Now, if we look real quickly at this on the top, these are things that were posted because of the eugenics program all over the country. These were all over the place. Things like the light flashes every 48 seconds. Every 48 seconds, a person is born in the United States who will never grow up mentally beyond the stage of a normal 8-year-old or boy or girl. All right. This is a statistic that they were telling people to literally to set their mind to certain standards. To certain standards. It says the light flashes every 50 seconds. Every 50 seconds, a person is committed to jail in the United States. Very few normal people ever go to jail. It says the light flashes every 15 seconds. Every 15 seconds, $100 of your money goes for the care of a person with bad hereditary, such as insane, feeble-minded, criminals, and defectiveness. The light flashes every 16 seconds. Every 16 seconds, a person is born in the United States. The light flashes every 7.5 minutes. Every 7.5 minutes, a high grade person is born in the United States who will have the ability to create work and be filled and be fit for leadership. About 4% of all Americans come within this class. Only 4%. Okay. Now, if we go to the next slide, once they enacted this, and they let Carrie and Buck, and they done sterilize Carrie, guess whose neighborhoods they came to sterilize first? Guess who was the first people that started getting sterilized without their consent? And it was nobody else but black folks and Latinos. It was happening in the Caucasian community, but not at the levels and the rates that it was shown statistically of how they were coming at our people. And if we go to these are just a couple of the states, North Carolina, Iowa, of how fast, year wise, of the amount of people that they were sterilizing women. This was being done to women. This was being done to our women. This is population control. All right, because they didn't want feeble-minded people walking around. If we go to the next slide, Carrie was instituted into this place called Virginia State's Colony for Epileptics and Feeble-Minded. All right. Now she was put here after she ended up pregnant. All right. Once she ended up pregnant, the people that because since she was in a foster home, the people didn't want to take care of this extra child. So they got her they got her locked up in this place. Now the problem is that they never said that she was raped at the foster home, and that's how she ended up getting pregnant.
Ooh.
All right, she was raped, and to hide the fact that she was raped at this place, they declared her feeble-minded. The people that at the foster home made her look like a nut, just so she could so she could be put in this place. Now, if we look at the next slide, this is the stepping ladder that they used to determine at what level you were at regarding the eugenics, as far as the ladder. Can we show the next slide, brother?
After the ladder?
The one with the ladder.
Yeah. I'm on it. Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies.
Yeah. So this is it. At the bottom, you're either an idiot, a low-grade imbecile, a medium imbecile, a high-grade imbecile, or a moron, or a complete moron. That happened to my cousin as a teen. See, it happened to so many of our women out here, and some of them didn't even know. They went in for, man, I'm getting, I don't know, a tummy tuck, and you come out and wait, I'm sterile now. What? How'd that happen? And you don't find this out until later on. All right. Now, as always, that led to that one case, Buck versus Bell. If we go to the next slide, Buck versus Bell, it shows us who they came after. All right, when this Justice Holmes cited Jacobson versus Massachusetts, which was the forced vaccination, and he used Jacobson versus Massachusetts to sterilize this Buck versus Bell, and they sterilized this woman. Now this is where they went. If we look, it says at the very top. You want to read, Brother Crown, or
Right or left?
on the right hand side?
California's eugenic sterilization program disproportionately targets Latinos. This is according to journalistsource.org. Especially Latina women who had a 59% higher risk of forced sterilization than women of other racial or ethnic backgrounds. New research finds as of 2008. Should I continue?
Please, the next one at the bottom.
Uh,
Right under California, it says eugenics practice in Mississippi.
Yep. So this is going to be coming from MississippiEncyclopedia.org. This article is from 2018. It says, eugenics practice in Mississippi initially sought to safeguard the supposed purity of the white race through control of mentally degenerate whites, but in the mid-20th century became a justification for the sterilization of an economically disadvantaged Black women.
And the bottom one?
At the bottom one, we have an article from Black women in the Black freedom struggle.voices.worcester.edu. This is an educational reference. It says the Mississippi appendectomy was the medical practice that provided involuntary sterilization to poor Black women who were deemed unfit to reproduce. This is as of May 2019.
Unfit to reproduce?
Well, brother, I got to be honest with you. I'm sorry. I know some sisters who are unfit to reproduce. I know some sisters right now. Their first baby was a C-section. Second baby. You know what? If your first baby is a C-section, do you know what they automatically deem the second baby? I'm talking like, so let's say today is, what's today? Let me see. I can't even find today's Monday. She had her C-section on Sunday. Sunday night, after the C-section was done, the doctor put her in the file as high risk pregnancy. I'm sorry, high risk gestational period. If you had one C-section, ladies, in the medical community, you are now and forevermore considered high risk. They will vaccinate you. They will take your uterus. They might even have to forcefully end your life because you are a threat to society. You are a feeble-minded, poor-bodied, poor health person, and this world is better off without you. We got to deal with the reality of this thing, folks. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, and they're using everything that they told us was going to help us against us. That's what I'm essentially trying to tell the family who may be thick-headed. I don't know, but please continue.
Right. So through these eugenics programs, they began to come at our people, and they came at our women first because they had to make sure that our numbers had to dwindle or at least, stay level to where they could keep up with it, because we know that, our counterparts are not as fertile as our women are,
Well, brother, my apologies for cutting your wisdom. Let me just add a little bit more value, and let me share my screen because I don't think the family. Now, keep in mind, Naga Omek, I know him. I know this dude. That's my family. That's wow, we right here. So, I'm saying that to say this ain't an attack on him or anything like that. But I really need the family abroad to understand the capacity of what I am trying to tell you guys. So now let's look up the top 10 elective surgeries. Give me a list. Come on, give me a list. Top 10 most common surgeries in the U.S. Let's see what they are. Almost ready. Come on, give me a list. All these advertisements. I don't know. There we go. No. I'm sorry. C-section is the number 2 most popular surgery in America.
Cataracts was number 1.
Cataracts was number 1. These are all. My thing ain't loading. White Jesus, come on. This is only number 3. You still owe me 7. Circumcision.
Circumcision.
Broken bone repair. Yada yada. Stent procedure. There we go. I knew it was in there. I knew it was in there. Family. What am I trying to tell you? It's going to be a war about this with many people. No, it's not. You know why? Brother, how do you cook a frog?
With hot water.
You cook a frog very slowly. Do you know what that means?
Yeah, they're pretty they're pretty gullible, so their way of thinking literally kills them in the end.
Right. And just to kind of help you, they're very adaptive. They're very adaptive. Yeah. So now they're going to adapt to their environment. So how do you cook a frog? If you put a frog in hot water, he's just going to jump out. If you put a frog in water that's comfortable and you raise the degrees just so slowly, he won't realize that he's in hot water and he'll die from being boiled to death. So what I am trying to tell the family right now is no, there's not going to be a war. You know why there's not going to be a war? Because these hysterectomy is the 8th most popular surgery in America. Brother, you think these are forced hysterectomies?
I'm pretty sure it's not.
These are elective surgeries. Nobody's forcing our women to remove their uterus. There will not be a war. My brother Naga, I love you, but I need you to understand that we are victims of. I don't even want to say a victim, because in the age of information, ignorance is a choice. So, we can't go at the victim thing anymore. We're just stupid. Stupid is as stupid does. You've been outwitted. You've been hoodwinked. You've been outthought. These people they're thinkers. They play chess all day. And when you play checkers, you're going to walk home with no uterus. That's what that is. So I don't want nobody to think ain't no war coming, ain't no force this. You're going to sign up for it, family. Just like everything else, we signed up for the Patriot Act. They didn't force that on us. We allowed, brother, do you know what happened ultimately behind what America did when they found out what Eric Snowden revealed to us? What did America do when we found out what Eric Snowden revealed to us? Do you remember what our reaction was?
No.
Nothing. You know why you don't remember? Because we didn't do nothing.
We didn't do nothing.
After we found out that the government was spying on us, we just carry on. Ain't nobody forcing nothing on us no more, family. We are willing participants in our own oppression. Thank you. I need to deal with these type of people who know that our people won't do nothing.
And we're gonna make a point of that in the next couple of slides as well, with nothing. That we didn't do nothing. We literally didn't do nothing. But they went after Jacobson, and they force vaccinated him. Then they went after Buck. All right, they went after Kerry Buck. All right, and with Kerry Buck, they came after our women. All right. And after they came into our women, they started to instill the thought in us. If we could see the next slide, it's something that I still ask myself: how did this happen? How did we allow ourselves to be put, in the thinking pattern of these people? But there was contests. you know, baby, better baby contest in which a baby was winning the contest based on his characteristics. You know, was he very proper? Was he a wild child? Did he obey, you know, his mother very well? You know, did he stand up properly? Did he have good skin? Did he have good hair? Or did he have kinky hair or whatever? Did he have a big nose? Did he have a nice nose? Did he have all these things that we're putting to place, and our people were participating in this?
Let me just take a crack at this, just see if I can read it. Better Baby Contest. This is according to Teaching Gay American History.org. Better Baby Contests were one of the eugenics movement became were one way that eugenics movement became an ordinary part of American life. The NAACP, wow. The NAACP organized such contests for Black families in the 20s and 30s. Proceeds from the contest were used to combat lynching. Better Baby Contest at the Indiana State Fair in 31. Wow. Well, at least it was, I don't know. Help me out, brother. What's going on here?
I mean, the cause was good. The cause was good, but what was the damage that was placed upon these children to think, oh, she was number one? That means she has better qualities. There's something about her that's better. That put other children that didn't even qualify for the race. What state of mind did that put? Imagine a mother that takes her child and they tell her, no, your child is just too feeble-minded. It's just too feeble-minded to be even in the contest. Now we're labeling our children and giving them this mentality of, I'm better than you because of this. I'm better than you because of that. My hair is better. I could run faster, you know, or I'm more proper, or my skin tone is lighter. All these different aspects that literally divide and conquer. No better way to put it. Divide and conquer. Because together they cannot fight us. Divided, we shall fall. All right. So they were having all these contests all over the place. All right. And if we look at the next slide, we only got like 3 slides left. It gives us a detailed explanation of what eugenics is. You mind, brother? Go ahead.
Bottom right.
Correct.
Eugenics, the study of how to arrange reproduction within a human population to increase the occurrences of hereditable characteristics regarded as desirable. Developed largely by Francis Galton, and if anybody who doesn't know who that is, that's the first cousin of Charles Darwin. Developed largely by Francis Galton as a method of improving the human race, it fell into disfavor only after the preservation of its doctrines by the Nazis.
Now, like we said before, our silence speaks volumes. When we remain quiet and nothing is done and we don't speak up, like I said, first they went after Jacobson. They used Jacobsons to sterilize Buck. They used Buck to come after our women. Through eugenics, they came after our children. We still said nothing. Through eugenics and our children, what did they do next, Brother Crumb? Next slide.
All right, let's see what we got here.
They sterilized our men. They sterilized our men. They came and gave them other diseases, sexually transmitted. How is something sexually transmitted, but you injected it onto somebody? But can we read the Tuskegee syphilis experiment, Brother Crumb?
The Tuskegee's study of untreated syphilis in the African-American male was a clinical study conducted between 32 and 72 by the United States Public Health Service. I didn't know it went all the way up until 1972. That part I didn't know.
Brother, I was born 5 years after that supposedly finished.
Right.
So this is like fresh. This is not like, oh, this was thousands of years ago. This can't happen. This can't happen. They went after Jacobson. They used Jacobson to get after Buck. They used Buck to come after our women. They used they used buck and coming after our women to come after our children, and to come after they came after our children, they came after our men. And once they had the concept down pack in the United States, what did they do, Brother Crumb? What
All
did
right.
they do? Can we go to the next slide? Now we have the Guatemalan syphilis experiments. If we could just go back to the previous slide real quick. It says that the period was between 1932 and 1972. Just so we could be aware. Now, if we go to the Guatemalan syphilis experiments, and at the bottom left-hand corner, it says a period. It's 1946 to 1948. During the same time, while they were doing it to the black community in North America, they were doing it to Latin America at the same exact time. Can
At
we
the same damn time.
can we read the bottom part on the left hand corner?
The syphilis experiments in Guatemala were United States led human experiments conducted in Guatemala from 1946 to 48. The experiments were led by physician John Charles Cutler, who also participated in the late stages of the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. The same person.
The same person, Brother Crumb. The same person. Oh, you got good at this over here in America, huh? We gonna send you over here in Latin America because we need you to do the same shit over there.
Wow.
The same shit over there. So now they went after Jacobson. They used Jacobson to come after Buck. After Buck, they used Buck and Jacobson to come after our women. After they came into our women, they came after our children. After they came after our children, they came after our men. When they came after our men in America, they moved outside our borders. And when the rest of the world got a hold of what the United States is doing, what happened next, Brother Crumb, to end it right there? What happened after they took it to Guatemala?
The significance and internal fame of Buck even led an infamous Nazi war criminal to cite it in his defense at the Nuremberg military tribunals. Buck versus Bell was considered a valid and powerful legal precedent for those who purported eugenics. Court, Supreme Court of the United States. Location, United States. Reference, alephhumanities.ucla.edu. The name of this article is called Revisiting the Three Generations of Imbeciles. Can somebody type in damn Gina? This brother done walked us all the way through history.
Now Hitler went and sterilized over 50,000 women in the other side of the world because the United States declared Buck versus Bell was an okay thing to do, and they sterilized one woman, and then they came after all our women, and Hitler said, if you could do it, I could do it better.
Damn, Gina. Damn.
My last thing in with this if we get to the last slide, all I want to let the people know is, in the words of the immortal Michael Jackson, these people, they don't care about us. They never have, they never will. And if we don't come together and put our differences aside and see that the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and we step up and start speaking up for what our grandparents didn't speak up, our parents didn't speak up, because the ignorance that they possessed passed on, and it gave us ramifications that we can't not even measure them. I have children. I do not want my children to suffer because of my ignorance that I possessed before I started doing this. So these people do not care about us. They never have. They never will. So now ask yourself, do you think they'll vaccinate us? I'll let you figure that one out.
Brother. And I think, well, let me just see if I can just read this comment. I don't know if this is a good closer or not, but he said, point being made is because our people keep going to their hospitals, we keep getting what we have gotten historically, meaning we have not learned from history. That's why they keep repeating it. Damn. You know what, brother? I have to be honest with you. I felt like that was a good place to end this, and my feelings were right. I want to thank my brother Nathaniel Bay for the wise words. I think that's a great place to end it. Brother, can you tell the people, if you don't mind, please, and thank you, who you are and where they can find you at?
I am Tasmaniac. You can find me on the Taz Show on all platforms, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook. You could also find me on my personal Facebook page under Tasmaniac Wolf. Follow me, subscribe, share my content, but you will always find me on Crumb TV.
I want to thank you again, brother, so much for gracing the platform, for coming with scholarly information. Stay on the line. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Before you leave, if you could just give a good drop for me. This is your brother Taz. You're now watching Crumb TV.
This is your brother Taz, and you are now watching Crumb TV.
With that said, family, this has been another installation of Crumb TV. Forced vaccinations. What you don't know, okay? What you don't know will hurt you. So now that you're done watching my little video, go ahead on, do your Netflix and chill. Go ahead on, if you're not a master's student, and go back to watching TV and pretend you never heard this. Family, we're gonna have to get serious. But maybe I'll talk about that another video. Who knows? Until then, I'm on YouTube, family. Smash that subscribe button, Crumb TV. I'm also on Instagram. Give your brother a Grammy, Crumb TV _. I'm also on Facebook. What place for your favorite races, Crumb TV? Hit that follow button. So with that said, family, I want to ask the family, please comment. Let me know what you think. Hit that like button, definitely. And share this video if you feel motivated to, if you learned something, if something about it really caught you. Don't just share it on your page, share it in them groups too. With that said, family, I am your humble brother, Crumb. I want to leave you the exact same way I came to you. In peace.